Welcome to this special edition of The Daily Show. We're here in Louisville, Kentucky at the third National Microcredentials Summit. KVAC is a K-12 cooperative of 23 school districts in eastern Kentucky. They've been on the cutting edge with this relatively new method of professional development, or what we call professional learning for K-20 educators. We have over 150 people here at the summit. And there's from representing 25 states. So this is the third summit. The first two are in Hazard. This one's in Louisville, and next year it's going to be in Iowa. I'm very honored to have our first guest, who's going to be presenting here in a few minutes, Odelia Younge from Digital Promise. So Odelia, first of all, tell us what the Digital Promise is and what's that connection with with Microcredentials.
Yeah, so Digital Promise is a national nonprofit with office spaces in Silicon Valley in California and DC. And we work on the work of accelerating innovation in education through a lens of closing the digital divide. And so we think about it, it's all about equity and thinking about how people use technology and people's access to it. And the people who don't have powerful access to it aren't going to be using it in powerful ways, and so they're falling further behind in education. So we work to close that gap, whether it's broadband issues, access to professional learning, coaching, toolkits, all of that. And Microcredentials is one powerful initiative that we work on, and we've been doing that work for about 4 years now. And yeah, it's been great, it's been tremendous. And so Digital Promise is playing the role as an ecosystem centralizer, and so we bring together partners to create their content. We've got a microcredential platform, has thousands of users on it and hundreds of microcredentials, as well as being thought leaders in the space as well, helping to push forth good policy and really sound research on the work.
So how was Digital Promise created?
Yeah, so Digital Promise was authorized by Congress in 2008, really started working in 2011, but now we're mainly funded by different grants.
Okay, and how your platform, if our audience wants to visit it and study about microcredentials and other great work that you're doing, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, if you want to learn about Digital Promise broadly, you would go to digitalpromise.org. But if you want to go to our platform, that is microcredentials.digitalpromise.org. And it's a public platform that's really important to us, that our work is made widely available. It doesn't live behind a paywall. It's something that people can access and look at. And you don't even have to be logged in to look at the microcredentials, because again, open education resources are really important to us. So you could go on there, look through the micro-credential content, it's all there, and you only have to create an account, which doesn't cost anything when you want to apply for a micro-credential, because it has to be associated with an actual account. But yeah, just having that public platform is really important to us.
Is this just for K-12, or is this post-secondary education also with the micro-credentials?
Yeah, our content partners range from people doing work with post-secondary folk to like pre-service teachers, and then there are high schoolers on there too who are part of some of the Educators Rising cadet teaching programs that are around the country. And yeah, so wide range of people who are on the platform. And then it's competency-based learning, and that really applies to lots of people, adult learning and workforce, K-12 educators, all of that. And all of them can use the platform because it's just about submitting evidence and then having someone on the back end who can assess that evidence and then grant the person the badge for them to share from there.
And we know that micro-credentials, this methodology, has been used in the business community and health professionals. Mm-hmm. So it's been more recent in education, hasn't it?
It has been, and it's been really great to learn from other industries where it has worked out for them, and to learn from that, because they know, like, if we want to create new on-ramps into new roles, if we really want to see what people can do and make sure the best people have access to leadership positions and growing and making people feel they have agency, the microcredentials really helps facilitate all of that. And so I know in K-12, a lot of people are dipping their toes in and they're interested, but there's a lot to learn from the people who are like, we're just going to take 2 feet and jump right in and learn about it. And KVAC's one of those people They jumped in with us as a partner, and they've been doing really great work. But they see a need. Like you're in a region where there are parts of the year where it's so hard to travel from one part of the region to another, and that connectivity isn't always there. How are you making sure that people still have access to learning opportunities and are able to continue to grow despite some of the challenges?
So if I'm a principal in Arizona, or if I'm a teacher in Eastern Kentucky, or I'm a superintendent in Ohio, why should I be engaged in this?
Because Microcredentials truly comes alongside every part of the continuum. So when we think about teacher preparation programs, how do we know that the teachers in the teacher preparation program are coming out with the skills that are really in demand of the districts that they're serving? If a district's seeing a need for support of English language learners, how are we making sure that those teachers are coming out with those skills? When we think about in-service teachers, like how are they knowing that what they're doing in their classroom works? How are they getting opportunities to be teacher leaders? And if I am a superintendent, how am I making sure that my educators, that I'm retaining teachers, that they feel excited about being in my district, that they have opportunity to grow, that the collegiality is there? I've seen a lot of great collaboration with Microcredentials. I know that there's a district in KVAC that's been working on the learner engagement microcredential together, and that goes from just seeing a single classroom shift to seeing whole grade levels and schools shift their practices because they're working together and they all have the evidence to show that it is changing in their classroom. So yeah, at every level of leadership and every level of the teaching continuum, Microcredentials can really facilitate some of the pressing conversations we need to have and are a powerful tool in the toolkit.
So it's a 24/7 learning platform where you can go
On
at
demand.
that you can go at your own pace. So what about, it seems like this would be helpful for all educators in urban and rural, but especially in rural areas. Seems like this has a lot of potential to learn from colleagues around the nation.
Yeah, definitely. So some people who know me closely know I grew up in rural Indiana. And I know the challenges of rural education. And if you're in an urban environment, you can kind of plug into things that are in like the city or the suburbs near you.
Yeah.
But when you're rural, it's like sometimes can feel like you're very all alone, and like where are the places that you're plugging into. And for me, Microcredentials has always been about equity of access and equity of opportunity. And we need to know if someone really needs to learn a skill, but they can't be connected to an institute of higher ed or other professional development opportunities. How are Microcredentials acting as that equity of access so they have a place to go where the resources aren't exhaustive in the Microcredential, but they are a really solid place that the educator can start to learn about the skill and try things out in the classroom. And when they're ready to submit, get feedback from someone who, as Marianne says, like if feedback is done well in a Microcredential, it can act as coaching, where someone is saying what they saw that was done well, what things could be improved, and then continuing to iterate on my practice, even if I don't have access to all these other professional development opportunities.
Okay. Well, thank you. Appreciate your passion and how you're going to be contributing to this summit and to all these school
Really
districts.
looking forward to
Hey,
it.
thank you so much.